for joining us back to listen to the things about God and how we can live our life to a very successful one. Today we are talking about a very, very interesting subject. Finances. It's something everybody worry about, care about, or does not care at all. Today we have a very noble woman here who is going to help us understand this subject and how we can help our own finances and others around us. So without much ado, we have with us Dr. Nan. She's going to introduce herself to us and then the discussion will follow. Stay tuned, don't go away. So welcome Dr. Nan to EMF TV. We appreciate you for coming. I want you to introduce yourself to our viewers today and then we'll go on with that discussion.
Hello everybody. It's a pleasure to be here this Saturday morning. You could be doing anything else, but you're choosing to watch us and listen to some advice to live by. So thank you for that, and I'm really grateful for the invitation. And she called me a noble woman. I think that's the first time I've been called a noble woman, but I like it. I'll keep it. So like she said, my name is Dr. Nakwo Kodikwe. It's a very long name, so most people have problems saying it. So I've cut it short to Dr. Na. But don't go to Ghana and say you're looking for Dr. Na, because there's going to be thousands of people who are called Dr. Na, I promise you. If you're looking for me specifically, you can go find Ms. Melis to tell you, who I am. But, why did she invite me to talk about this, right?
Yes.
We're in America, so you should know something before you are called upon it. First of all, I am an anthropology professor at Georgia Military College. I've taught at University of North Georgia as well. So that's my main focus. But more recently, the new title that I hold is a financial advisor or a financial specialist, and I am licensed in the state of Georgia to be able to provide you with information that I'm going to provide you today.
Thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate you. You have no idea. So, Christian and finances. Sometimes it's like we really don't worry about it, or we don't talk about it. So we don't know if we have to worry or not. We don't know which state we are in. So why do you think we need financial freedom as Christians?
If you can see behind us over here, it says what? My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. We all say this Bible verse, we use it any way we want to. Today we are using it in terms of lack of knowledge when we're talking about finances, right? So obviously none of us want to be what? Destroyed, right? I don't want to be destroyed,
No.
So, but basically information is power, knowledge is power. And when you lack knowledge, your life doesn't really fall in line the way that you want it to. So the question is that as a Christian, right, should you really worry about finances? I've come across a lot of Christians who have different views about this, and then I have those who they believe in God and they believe that God has everything under control and God will see them from now to the end of their life, so they don't have to worry. You also have those at the other hand who are really money hungry and chasing money all over to their detriment or to the detriment of their spiritual life. I am a person who believes in balance, no matter what. No matter the situation, I believe the key is balance. So somewhere in between the two approaches is what I personally will advise. Believe that God is still what? Supreme and omnipotent over your life in anything that you do. But I use this example that if I want a job and I sit in the church and I pray, Holy Spirit, I need a job, give me a job, and I do that every day, I don't believe the job will fly through the window of the church and come to me. God expects me to go out there, put in application, and follow up to see if somebody wants to employ me.
Yes.
So that's the same approach that I want Christians to follow when it comes to your financial life. Yes, God will provide, but He wants you also to be involved in it. Right? God, we are God's friends, we are His children. He likes it when we work together with Him.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, like you said, so does that mean we all need to be financially free? Everybody? Or it's for some people? Maybe let the rich worry about it. Because I don't have anything anyway, so why bother? So
You know what? That's a very, very good question. It's like, should I even worry about it since I don't have? Again, let's go back to the Christian Bible. God is omnipotent; He owns everything, right? So there's nowhere where it says in the Bible that we should be wretched as Christians, right?
No.
It doesn't say that. So we don't need to be poor because we are forsaking the flesh of flesh or the things of the world. I don't believe that's what the Bible wants us to do. But imagine that you have a friend who goes to church,
Yes.
and they tell you how great God is and how loving God is. However, they are always looking wretched and all kinds of stuff. I mean, you might be like, I don't really know if I want to join your God because I like looking good, right?
Yes.
So we should all worry about financial freedom, because lack of financial freedom is a way that can definitely get into the way of your Christian life. Many have sinned, I'm not included, because of money, right?
Yes.
There's a saying that goes, well, the love of money is the
Root of all evil.
root of all evil. I mean, it's not that the paper money that is there that is causing the evil, but the want of it, the fact that we can use that paper to acquire things, our desires, that's the problem. But I want everybody to worry about financial freedom right now, not only rich people. Why should they worry about financial freedom? They already have it.
They want to protect it, so some of them can't sleep. But some people don't have it; they don't care.
So we should. It's good that we don't have to worry about it and chase it and lose our mind or sin to have it. But we should have a plan to get it to a point where we're going to be financially free. Everybody, when you ask people what is financial freedom, it varies to people. It varies from person to person.
Yes.
Some people will say, "Hey, I want to be able to retire at the age of 40." That's financial freedom to that person, because they don't have to go and clock in every day just to make sure that they have enough. Somebody will say, "I want to retire my wife. I don't want my wife to ever work again. She's been so wonderful to me as a wife, working all these years. I want her to retire so that, but for her to do that, I need to have enough money to cover her bills as well, right?"
Yes.
So that's financial freedom is different from different folks.
Okay. Thank you. So we all have to worry about it, regardless whether you have nothing or something. It's something we all have to put in perspective and see how best we can live with it. So let me ask you, since we are African, we can change that fact. And can one's cultural views on finances affect that? I mean, our cultural views, can they affect our perspective in general? Because I come from here, this is how we look at it. I come from there, this is how we look at it. Is it affecting us in any way?
A very good question. Now, culture is everything.
Yes.
Anybody tells you anything is devoid of culture, it's a lie.
Yeah.
You can quote me on that. The fact of the matter is that our culture really has an imprint on our mind,
Yes.
right? So even if you are, Ghanaian, if you're a child of a Ghanaian parent and you were born in America, trust me, the way your parents view money is also going to influence the way you view money,
Yes.
right? And so, I'll use an example. Most of us Africans, me included, I'm also from Ghana, and a lot of other African people that I've come across, we really, really have a strong work ethic.
Yeah.
That is, we just keep going and going and going. And the truth be told that some African people, if you give them 200 hours to work a week, they will take it. And they will not sleep, and they will come to work and make sure they are doing it. But the problem is that, what are they doing with the money that they are gaining?
Yes.
And those are some of the issues that we are going to talk about today, because you can work hard, but if you don't know how to make your money work for you, there is a problem, okay?
Thank you very much. So now that takes us to that, what to do. So what can we do to become financially free?
There's a lot
Then
of
now you
things
can
that
use your- yeah.
there's a lot of things that you can do. For those of you who don't have any, no panic. There's time for you to have something, and I don't want you to get like hyper worry about it. Like I have to get. Like I said, everything information is the first step.
Yes.
So I have prepared a few things over here for us to go through, so that everybody will know how to do it. Now, my first slide over here. Technology. So if you can see the slide behind us over here, it talks about building a financial foundation, okay? There's 4 levels, okay? And so you can see that the bottom one is the largest of all of it, right? And it says protection. The question is that what exactly does protection mean, right? And on my next slide, I'll go ahead and break it down. But first thing first is that you must have a strong protection, because that builds a foundation for a solid financial future, right?
Yes.
After you have that protection, you need to do what is called debt management. This is America. We all owe somebody, right? They'll be calling you. But we have to make a plan. We cannot really be debt-free, most of us. But eventually, you should plan to be what? Debt-free. And that is financial freedom, right? So you make a plan. And then you have what is called emergency fund, right? Emergency fund, we have all heard about it. But what exactly, how much do we need for emergency fund? And I'll tell you exactly how much you need. And then you go to investment. Once you have extra money, right, you go to investment. A lot of people build this financial thing upside down. Especially, you talk about culture having influence on our decisions about money.
Yeah.
Now, for us, most of us Africans, we come from a place where when we think about, financial freedom, I need to put my money away and invest money so that my money will grow. Then I'll become rich, right?
Yes.
So when we come to America, we come with the same perspective. So as soon as we make small money, what do? Boom, we go to investment. Unfortunately, lack of knowledge again. We don't really know where should you really put your money. There are places you can put your money, and if you don't take care, it might become something else, because not everywhere is the right place to invest for every human being or every person, right? So this is what we end up doing. And then when I talk about protection, you'll see how dangerous it is when you have this. So I'm going to go to the next slide, okay? And that's just breaking it down, exactly what that means. Okay? So you can see it's, again, building a strong foundation for yourself and your family. The protection, what does protection mean? From the first slide, you can see that protection is what? Appropriate insurance. Now, we come from a background when we talk about insurance, like, what is insurance? I mean, the regular, the common Ghanaian person is insurance. Insurance for what, right? We only find out about insurance because we come here and the law makes us what? Buy car insurance. Even though we don't want to, at least we know that, But truth be told, if it's not the law, a lot of us will try to go without, avoid paying, right? But we know that we get car insurance because if something happens to the car, you want it to be replaced. Yeah. Because that's how we work, right? Yes. The problem is that, what about the person who sits in the car and go to work every day? Does that person have protection? The car can be replaced, but you as a human being, the worker, you can't be replaced. So we need to start thinking differently, in terms of what we need as insurance. When I talk about can the person be replaced, no. So you need to have something that is called what? Life insurance, which means you are insured so that, God forbid, none of us know how much time we have on earth. I mean, it is guaranteed that one day we will go to the ground. That's just the way God made it, right? So you need to have that, so that in case if you go home and you don't return home, right, the family that you are leaving behind will not suffer. It just simply means that you love your family enough to put a plan in place so that when you're not there, they will miss you, of course, but do you want to add to their woes by leaving them in a financial slavery or enslavement? And then, of course, you should also have what is called, health insurance. Everybody knows about it. But there's one that we must really, really think about. It's called long-term care. And I'll talk about it later on. But that is very important, okay? When we go to the second level of the financial foundation, right? We have what? Debt management. Like I said, we all have it. We do. What you do is that you need a plan. And when I say a plan, not that you just write it down and hide it somewhere under your bed or anything like that. You need to have a plan that you carry with you in your wallet when you go shopping, so that when you buy stuff, you pull out your plan and go, no, I can't afford this because I need this $100 to add to my money to pay the bills so that I can eliminate my debt in a faster period of time, okay? Let's see, so make a plan, follow it with discipline. That's the thing. People who are wealthy, they will tell you that they are very disciplined. We all know somebody who is so rich and yet they are the first person to pick the penny off the ground, and you're like, geez. You're like, geez, you have a lot of money. Why are you worried about a penny? Discipline. It's the same picking of the pennies that they started. That's why now they have a bucket full of it, right? So it takes discipline for a person to what? Really be financially successful. Okay?
Yeah.
So any question from you?
Yeah, like what you're saying, I understand, but when we go back home, because most people watch us from back home,
okay,
the whole of Africa, is this able to apply?
Absolutely, because there are places where you can buy life insurance. It's like, and let me just talk about the culture thing again, because when we talk about life insurance, people are like, hey, you want to kill me? It's not that. Some people start praying over their children. God forbid. You know, I've spoken to so many African people, and they start blaspheming. Hey, they said this is blasphemy. They say, oh, God protects his own. And I'm like, well, am I the devil coming to tell you this information? No, really. I also believe that God is in control, and he's in control over my children's life as well. I'm not planning to die tomorrow, but I have a life insurance because I do have a 14-year-old. I go out to work every day. And then my friend, my very, very good friend, we call him Mr. G, he's from Togo, he tells me, hey, when you are driving, the person in front of you is a fool. The person behind you is also a fool. You are in between those fools. You never know what's going to happen. And I personally added the person on your left is a fool. The person on your right is a fool. Everybody is a fool except for you.
At that point.
But anything can happen to
see you as a fool too on the side.
So anything can happen to you, basically, that's the point. So you might not be able to return home. If that happens, how is your family going to be? Are they going to fall apart? Right? Same thing in Africa. And you know, unless, you know,
Yeah.
okay. The point is that, well, you know, me, I'm calling it susu. Yes, susu da. In Ghana, susu is a very common concept. Even in West Africa, we do susu. Why? We put money away as a group, and then one person takes it, right? Why? So we can have a more heavy amount of money to invest, right? I call this, I don't know what cheap people say, but I say wala susu. It's like life susu.
Yeah.
Why don't you make susu for your life? Or your family, it's called family life, in the sense that if something happens to you, this is money. And we in Africa especially, you know how Ghanaians, we are known for our what? Elaborate funerals.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
When people die, it's no joke. It's like, that's when people want to send you off in style. Because of course, they think if you don't send them off in style, your ghost will come and torment them, right? I don't know about
Not
that.
necessarily.
I don't want a ghost to come after me anyways, but I do know that, you know, usually when people are getting older, they start talking about, oh, when I go, please send me off well and stuff.
This way, yeah.
So it's a way to respect them. I don't believe that we should spend all our money on it, and then again, that's not wise, right? But why not? If you love your family so much, everybody, every African, especially Ghanaians, that we love to have fabulous funerals, why not have that? So that when you die, they will have some money to what? Send you off, and still have some money to keep, right?
Yeah.
To take care of themselves. I think that's love, right?
Yeah, that is. Yeah. Thank you very much. We'll take a quick break, and we will return with a whole lot more. Welcome back, viewers. We are talking about finances, very important subject, and we have with us Dr. Nan. She is a professor in anthropology, and she teaches, and she is a financial advisor on top of that. And she's taking her time to come and educate us on finances. And we were talking about how to become free financially. And so we took a break and we are back. So Doctor, I want you to continue from where you started. And then move on to, so we talked about the debt management. Yes.
So we'll talk about debt management. So as you can remember, just a quick review, that if you want to build a strong financial foundation, you need to have protection. We talked about that is insurance, different types of it, to protect what you have. Even if you think you don't have anything, trust me, you have something, okay? Debt management is to eliminate what you owe people, right? Because it's important. It's like if you don't eliminate your debt management and then you move on to the next level, it's like you have a basket and you are using the basket to fetch water. It's not going to work. You won't hold it, okay? So now we're going to go to the next level of creating a strong financial foundation. Here we go. We have what is called emergency fund. most people have heard emergency fund, right? And we say, okay, well, it's not money that we put away in case we have problems. Because the truth of the matter is that statistics are showing that most Americans cannot go, they cannot afford, if they have to have a car problem that's going to cost them $400, there's a problem. It's going to cause their whole financial system to what? Collapse, because they don't have emergency funds. Okay, so emergency funds is money that you don't touch it. It should be in the bank, not to grow anything, because honestly, banks do not grow money. I know, especially most people around the world, most immigrants think that we put our money in the bank and that is how our money grows. That is not true. And we will talk about a few concepts, concerning how you can grow your money and places where you put your money to grow. Okay,
Yes.
But for now, talking about emergency fund, there is actually a formula that you need to use. So the formula, experts are saying that emergency fund is what? Your monthly expenses times 6. Which means if every month it takes you about $2,000, right, to pay your bills, you need to have what? 2 times 6, that is what? 12,000.
Yeah.
That's $12,000.
Is that possible?
That's what everybody says. Because most people I come across are like, are you kidding me?
Yes.
But we should have that, because ideally they said if you lose your job, it takes people about 6 months
Yeah.
for them to get another job that's going to pay the same amount.
Yes.
So if you have this, if God forbid that happens to you, you're okay.
But is it theory or realistic?
You should, we can do it. Saving money is like any habit. We learn to be spenders, right? We learn to buy things that we don't need. You see, and I talk about what? The concept of paying yourself, right? If I were to pull your monthly bank statement, right? Everybody should do this. You will be like, what? All the little things that we buy that we don't even know. When I did my statement, I was like, I don't really buy much. I just go to the dollar store. Hey, so when I pull my statement, dollar store. Now, little drops of water.
Makes the money.
Hey, I said, hey, I'm spending a lot of money here. A friend of mine, her problem is what? Espresso. What's that place? They sell the fancy coffee, right?
Yeah.
She said, hey, Dr. Nam, did you know I drink like $100 worth of coffee each week? I said, that's somewhere you can work on, right?
Yes.
2 times a week will save you some money off of there, right?
Yes.
So you'll be surprised that when you go through your bills and things like that, you'll be surprised when you find some hidden money that when you cut down, you'll be able to save up, right? And there's a lot of tips that I can give later on about how you can cut down your bills and stuff like that.
Okay.
Most people have cable TV, right? This is America. Nobody watches TV because they are all working. And when you come home, let's just be honest, you have 350 channels. When you come home, you are so tired from work, the TV ends up watching you, and you are paying the TV to watch you. That doesn't make much sense, right? So it's like throwing money away, right? You can cut it to 3, 4, 10 channels. You're still not gonna watch it. It's gonna watch you, right?
Yes.
So that's what I'm talking about. So we can, when I meet with clients, I sit with you and we make a financial plan. How to get from wherever you are, you may be financially enslaved or whatever it is, we move you along. So you make a plan to leave financial insecurity, go all the way to what? Financial what? Security. So that's the plan. When I come across people, that's what I want them to, live with. So then after you put away your emergency fund, the next stage is investment, right? That is a big area. We all know that we should invest, especially as who comes across, comes from different parts of the world, right? Americans, Ghanaians, Africans, Asians, Indians, everybody needs to do what? Investment. Because I said before, bank does not grow money. We pay the banks to give them our money, right? At the end of the year, we have to consider what? Inflation. We also have to take into consideration what? Taxes. So if you put $100 in the bank right now, at the end of the year when you go to collect that $100, you're not going to get $100. You can believe that, because there will be fees that are taken out, there will be taxes, and that $100 that will buy whatever it will buy this year is not going to be able to buy something for next year because of what? Inflation is just normal, right? So the question is that investment, you need to make the right choice for yourself. What is working for Sister Joa is not going to work for Emily in America. Okay, basically. So these are all different options, right? Stocks, saving accounts, CDs, 401k, right? Annuity, life insurance, college planning fund. There's so many more, right, where you can put your money. But is it the right one for you? That is the question. Okay.
So I want to touch on college planning fund.
Mm-hmm.
Can you like throw a little light on that?
So college planning fund, there are the reason why college planning fund is good for our children is that the government take that into consideration, that it's money that you are saving for your children. Okay, so in terms of taxes and things like that, you get some benefits from it when you're saving money for your children. Okay. However, there are other programs too that are there that are not called college planning fund. However, they will also help you amass money for your children's college, okay? And please, parents everywhere, honestly, if you can do anything for your children, I love my kid, we all love them, but if you can do one thing for your children is to try to pay for their education. Because coming out of school with student loan is a burden. I'm a perfect example because when I came to America, I was just happy to have the opportunity to go to school. I got a little greedy. If I start telling you my degrees, I have my PhD, I have the master's, I have 2, bachelors, it was there. I also have a minor in women's study. The thing is that I was happy to collect the knowledge and it's great, but I had no concept of the kind of debt I was putting on my head. Because I always thought, when I come out of college, I'll get a job as a PhD, I'll make about $60,000, dollars, and I'll just pay it off. Boom, boom, boom. What I did not realize is that all that time, the money was growing. In fact, they are not growing. They are doing somersaulting and doing all kinds of things. So when I finish and I see the loan, I say, if I mention it to you, you have a heart attack. Me, I try not to think of it because I myself, every time I think about it, I want to faint. Do you know how to do CPR? Okay, so I will not mention it because nobody knows how to do CPR. No, and it's like my father loves me. I know that my father loves me. My father is, my father has passed. But I know my father loved me, and I know if my father knew this information, he would have so used it, right, to get me out of college without all this wahala. See, if I went to school with people whose parents had money to pay for them, and let's be honest. A lot of times we go to school with people who don't look necessarily like us, right? We say, these people, they are rich, their parents are paying for them. Your kids can be in the same situation where you are paying for them. Because my colleagues that I graduated with, those whose parents were able to pay for them, they are enjoying their life, my dear, because they don't have student loans to pay for. Me, every month I have to calculate which one is going to them. It's a battle. Sometimes I call them and say, why are people doing this to me? In fact, I want to tell them that I don't want the knowledge anymore. Take it back, refund. They won't refund me.
Yeah.
They said they can't take the knowledge.
Yeah.
So that's college money. But these things are all important, but it doesn't work for everybody. Yeah. Savings account, I'm just going to say it right now. Banks, savings account, it does not make your money grow. So we know, people who come from different parts of the world will trust the bank. Because sometimes we come from societies where people will say, we are doing bank, and then 3 years later the bank is broken.
Yeah.
Right. But if you are in America, and even Africa, India, Asia, there's always companies, if you want to invest, there are banks who have been around for a long time. You always want to find an institution that has been around for 20 plus years. You don't want to do fly-by-night kind of companies who just came up within 3 months. If they disappear with your money, you're in trouble.
Yes.
You want to find a bank that is insured. Because banks have to have insurance too. So that if they get robbed, the insurance will pay them and then you can get your money back, okay?
Yes.
But in America, there's many places now, at least now, even in Ghana now, we have safer places to put your money. But if you really want to grow your money, the bank is not the place. CDs are not the place, okay? Because they earn less than 1% interest rate. And look at the next slide. I want to show something else.
Okay, yeah.
So, building wealth the correct way. Most of us are not born with wealth in with a spoon, a gold spoon in our mouth, or golden spoon, as they say. There is actually a formula for growing wealth. You just have to follow it, and this is the concept. It's like if you're baking a cake, right? You need the ingredients. What do we use to bake cake? I'm not a good baker, but at least I know there's flour in there. I know there's sugar. You know. So it's the same thing. When you're trying to have a wealth formula, when you're trying to be wealthy, this is the steps you follow. First, you have money, right? It doesn't matter if it's $10, right? You asked that question, I think, earlier on. I think, that is it important to start saving right now? Yes, anytime. I mean, now, as you're listening to this, start. Because time is very important when it comes to what? Money growing.
Okay.
Money will not grow if there's never time, right? Of course, you also need what is referred to as rate of return. That's your interest rate, right? And inflation, because money is always what? Depreciating. What you can buy 10 years ago with $10, you can't buy the same thing today. It has to depreciate. You will need more than $10 to buy the same thing, right? Taxes, right? Most of us, before we get our paychecks, somebody is already taking their share, right? It's the way of the world. You have to pay taxes, right? But sometimes there are ways that you can cut down on your taxes legally. Not under table, nothing like that, because I don't do prison. So please don't call me and ask me for ways for you to illegally do stuff. There's legal ways, because there are laws that protect certain properties and things like that. And so you need to have the knowledge to know where you can invest your money and take advantage of those tax cuts. Okay? So this is the formula for building wealth. All right? Now, we don't have too much time for me to break down the calculation. But this will tell you that if you put $100 in the bank at the end of the year, you're not going to get $100 back.
No,
right?
No.
So, if realistically, if you really need your money to grow, you need to have a rate of return to be more than 5% before you can even come up with your $100 at the end of the year. Okay? Anything under 5%,
it's not
if you calculate, you're going down. Okay? So, I'm of the theory that as a person, you should never lose money. Because we work very, very hard for our money. We all do. We sweat. We sacrifice sleep. I like my sleep, but when I have to go to work, I have to get up. No choice. You know, we sacrifice a lot to go to work. You know, work. That's all we do. You got to get to a point where you want your money to work for you. You don't always have to be chasing your money. One way to make your money work for you is by finding the places where you can get the most or the highest interest rate. Okay? And so when you do that, then your money will start growing. So remember, anything less than 5%, don't take it. It's not going to grow your money. Okay? And there are places where, you know, I can personally stay with you and direct you where you can, you know, because let's believe it or not. I never used to think about, when I was a kid, I thought, what is the bank? What do they do? Do they have a tree there that makes the money grow or something? Because I really didn't understand. But now as I'm grown up, I know that they have money because they use your money, invest it somewhere else, they get paid, and they give you a little bit of it, right? So why can't you find a way to cut out the middle person, which is the bank, and go to where they do
their sure.
Exactly. And that's what I do, and that's what I help my clients with, okay?
Thank you very much. So, you're saying we have to start saving, investing as little as we don't have to wait to be rich? Because hey, say I live from paycheck to paycheck. Say I'm in another part of the world, and before my money gets to me, I already know I have to lend it out. I paid all my bills. How am I able to reconcile that with the idea of saving and investing?
My dear, that one is no news to anybody. We are all, you know, what is it? Take from Peter and feed. Because that is it. Paycheck here, you're handing over to your boss, right?
Like
we all do that. Exactly. You're taking an area, you know, so you're always in the same boat. Fine. But there are a few things. There are things that you can do. Like, let's just be honest. We buy things that we don't necessarily need, right? A lot of times we want to buy fancy clothes. I don't like to look bad, but you know, you can still look good and not really give somebody $1,000 for just one pair of pants, right? We can look good modestly, Because all the things that we are addressing, we are trying to what? Impress people. Honestly, they might not even notice. You are thinking you're looking good, and people will be giving compliments. Oh, you are looking good. So what? At the end of the day, right? Whose money is it? Your money.
Yeah.
When you get old and you have no money to cover your retirement, who are you gonna blame?
Yourself.
Exactly. And nowadays, one thing that everybody have to start thinking about is retirement, right? Because honestly, when I was younger, I never thought I would lose strength though. But I'm not saying I'm old now. But hey, the other day I climbed up the steps. Boom, boom, boom. I think my brain thought I was 20. Boom, 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 boom. When I got to the app, I almost told my daughter. My daughter was like, "You really got 911?" I said, "Hey, my heart, oh, my." Things are changing, right? So imagine that 40 years from now, right? I'm not going to be able to climb that stairs. Like, we're not going to have the same amount of strength, right? To do the things that we do right now to get money. So we need to think ahead of time, right? We have to put plans into place. Everybody, this is something that we don't think about, as immigrants, right? Those of us who come from societies where it is our responsibility to help our parents, right? They say they say they help us grow teeth. Now we have to help them lose their teeth.
Yeah.
That's fine. I love my mom, but when you should do better, right? You don't have to say, "Oh, my daughter will take care of me, my son will take care of me." So you don't put anything in place. That is not love. Because now there are ways that you could make sure that you rather what? Leave them a sizable inheritance. It's not that difficult. And I can show you places where you can put your money, it will grow. You can still have a nice burial, whoever you are, papa or mama, you will. But then right? Beyond your death, what happens to your family?
Yes.
Do you not want to be remembered as the person in your family who changed change it for the descendants, right? You can do that. If you leave $1 million for your family, they will never forget you now.
No.
I'm sure there will be a villa in your name, right? So there's a lot of things that we can do to save, but the most important thing is that start saving right now. Even if it's $1 a day, even if it is 10 Ghana, whatever you can, you just do it, because with time the money will grow, right? Just create a habit, make it like a habit, like pay yourself. That's one way to do that. Make sure that whenever you get your paycheck, right, you cut your own share. It's a family bill, call it retirement fund, because it's better for you to let go of cable TV, right? To make sure that at the age of 70 you are not standing at Walmart working, or you are not standing by the street begging people. We need to start thinking about our future. Nowadays, technology is a great thing, but if you don't take care, to become a terrible thing and something that you call it a curse. People are living into their hundreds, right? We all know somebody who's like 102, 105.
Yeah, my grandma.
So imagine if you retire at the age of, let's even give you 70.
65, yeah.
Yeah, in America they say 65, right?
Yes.
I think they are even working on changing it because Social Security has a problem. They don't know if they will have enough
Yes.
to cover some of us when we are old. So now it's really important for us to start saving for our own self, right? Our own security. Instead of Social Security, we need to do what? Self-security, right? Because you have to put away your own money to be able to live on. So if you retire at the age of 70 and you live to 120 years old, hey,
That is a long time.
if you haven't saved money, you're not gonna thank God every morning. You will begin to say, "This thing is a curse, so come and take me, come and take me." Because life is gonna be rough.
Yeah, very.
And that's when you are weak, you are old, you can't work as much as you used to work, you are depending on other people. We don't have to depend on people in our old age. If our children want to do for us, that's beautiful, that's fabulous. But we should not allow ourselves to become burdens, right? I love my mother, I love my father, I'll do anything for my mother. Unfortunately, my mother grew up in a system where all of these things is not her reality, right? But those of you who have traveled out of the country, these are things that we can put into place, right?
Sure.
I know a lady who said, "Hey, me, when I die in America, my daughter better take me home." And I said, Mama, have you saved some money? What a lot of first immigrants don't realize is that to even take a body back to Africa or Asia or whatever, Africa is at least $10,000.
Yes.
Most of the time it goes up to $15,000, right? But she hasn't saved anything. When we said, she said, "Hey, my daughter will find the money." So I said, "Mama, what you are doing is not good." She said, I said, it's not good, Mama, because you can find a place to put even if $5 a day, right? Or even $5 a month. You know, God forbid if the thing happen, it will come. We all know that it will happen.
Yes.
But that money will be released, you know, and there are many programs you can put in. That's life insurance. That's a way, you know, to cover your burial and things like that.
Yes.
So eventually I convinced her. She's like, oh, you know. And I said, look at it as a kind of love after you are gone, right? So if it happens, your daughter will have the money to, you know, take you back to Africa the way you want. And she's not going to have to what? Go to work, what? 7 days a week just to make sure that she can cover it and, you know, not fall into trouble.
Okay.
And be able to feed the grandkids at the same time.
Thank you very much. This is a lot of information to digest. Sometimes we think we know, but listening to this, there's more to learn every day and something to do with your life. So let's take our time and plan to invest some money, because it's scary if you are going to live 102, like she said, and going to depend on people. I know that this video is going to be a blessing unto you. We will come up with more. There's more coming. After this video, there will be a part 2 of it. There's more information, ways in which you can invest, what to do in times of crisis, all that. Dr. Na is here to help us understand all those concepts, so that our lives will be a little different from our parents, so that our children's life will be better than ours, that we are not leaving them with a burden. So I want to thank Dr. Na very much. I want you to say one last word, a final statement to the viewers about this whole thing.
Okay, of course, we started with prayers, so we should end with something that comes from God, right?
Yes.
So, hold on a second here. There it is. So it's Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7, and it will shock you to say, it says that the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender.
Oh.
I'm going to say that again because that is very powerful. It says, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. In some versions it says the borrower is a slave to the lender. If somebody walks up to you and calls you a slave right now, you probably want to slap them, even though that's not a nice thing to do, because I'm not a slave, you don't own me. But guess what? Somebody owns you right now. If you're not financially free, somebody owns you. Because you don't have your right to say, I'm not going to work today. You need that money, right? In the morning, sometimes you're sick, you don't feel like it. You're going because your children have to eat.
Yes.
That is a type of what? Financial enslavement. So we need to get ourselves out of debt. I mean, like today, yesterday, you know. So probably like, you know, the host. That's so, I'm grateful. I just want to say thank you for having me to talk about an issue that is dear to my heart. And again, I just want to say that I know we mentioned Africa a lot, but this is not information that's only for people who are from Africa, or, you know, it is for people who are from Asia, it's for people who are from anywhere in the continent, right? Anywhere, any, whatever continent you're living in. Because it's just formulas that when you put into practice, right, you will see your money growing, and you know, you will leave something better for your descendants. And we all love our kids, and that's what we want to do. We want to pass on things to them. We don't want to pass on financial burdens, right? We want to pass on, you know, even if you don't have enough, it's better that, you know, you leave them zero at least. Please don't just leave them negative. So remember, you don't want to be anybody's slave. So all of us have to work on getting to a place where we call financial security. That way, if you don't want to go to work today, you're like, hey, I'm sick, I'm staying home. Okay. So thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
I've learned a lot. As I'm teaching, I'm also learning along this. So thank you for having me.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you. And viewers, I'll use this opportunity to appreciate my producer, who is Mr. Evans Varminter, my husband, and Pastor Richard, who is right here with us, pushing us through our question and our discussion. We appreciate, and everybody who work in any way in prayers, in any way you do to support this ministry. We appreciate you, and God bless you. We will come with part 2 of this program. It's just too important to ignore. So stay with us, and there's more to come. Remember, this is IMEF TV again, and we are touching lives where necessary. In as much as we are Christians, we want to live a life that is worthy of Christ, and we don't want to be called slaves in any way, so we have to be free. So God bless you once again, and have a good week. We will see you same time next week. God bless you. Bye.